Hi, this is Alex from devstories.eu. Docker Masterclass, Episode 7 of 18. Starting a process in the background is exactly what you want for a production web server. But when that server refuses to load your page, you need a way to break the glass, step into the environment, and see what is actually broken. This episode covers running and interacting with containers. The core command to start any container is docker run. By default, if you run a container, it attaches its output directly to your terminal screen. It takes over your prompt, and if you press Ctrl+C, the container terminates. For a long-running service like an Nginx web server, this is entirely impractical. You want the server to run in the background. You achieve this using the detached mode flag, which you type as a single -d. When you pass -d, Docker starts the container, prints a long, unique container ID to your screen, and immediately gives you your terminal prompt back. The container continues to run quietly in the background. However, that running container is isolated. Even if Nginx is actively serving traffic on port 80 inside the container, your host machine cannot see it. You have to explicitly punch a hole through that network isolation. You do this with the publish flag, typed as -p. This allows you to map a specific port on your host laptop to a specific port inside the container. If you specify -p 8080:80, Docker intercepts any web traffic hitting your laptop on port 8080 and routes it directly to port 80 inside the container. Now you have a detached web server you can successfully reach from your local browser. But what happens when you load the page and see a configuration error? Your Nginx web server is running in the background, but you need to read the configuration files on its file system. Here's the key insight. You do not need to stop a container to look inside it. Instead, you use the docker exec command. While docker run creates a brand new isolated system, docker exec runs a brand new command inside an already existing running container. To get a useful working terminal, you need to combine two specific flags into -it. The I stands for interactive. This keeps the standard input channel open, allowing you to actually type commands into the container. The T allocates a pseudo TTY. This tricks the container into thinking it is connected to a physical terminal, which is necessary for command prompts and text formatting to display correctly. If you run docker exec -it followed by the container name and the command /bin/bash, you instantly drop into a command prompt inside the running Nginx container. You are now inside the box. You can read configuration files, check error logs, and inspect the file system exactly as you would on a standard Linux server. When you're finished, typing exit closes your temporary shell session. The Nginx container itself remains completely unaffected, still running in the background. Eventually, you'll need to clean up. Running docker stop with the container name sends a termination signal, giving the application time to shut down gracefully. However, stopping a container does not delete it from your system. The stopped container remains on your hard drive, retaining its logs and any internal file system changes. To delete it permanently and free up that disk space, you run the docker rm command. The most critical distinction to memorize is the difference between run and exec. Docker run boots a brand new, isolated system, while docker exec allows you to step inside a system that is already breathing. Thanks for listening. Take care, everyone.